All right, let's talk about the man at the very center of the AI storm, Sam Altman. Behind the magic of ChatGPT and Sora, and this company that's just rocketing towards a $500 billion valuation, there's this really tangled web of ambition, controversy, and a mission that, frankly, could change everything. So who is the real Sam Altman? And what is OpenAI's actual endgame?
We're going to break this all down. First, how does Altman really see the risks of AI? Then, what's the master plan to build this, trillion-dollar empire? How is he personally cashing in on it? And of course, the biggest question of all, is this some revolutionary new reality we're entering, or is it just the biggest bubble in history about to pop? Let's get into it.
Okay, so first things first. To really get what OpenAI is trying to do, you've got to get inside Sam Altman's head and understand what he's actually afraid of when it comes to AI. And trust me, it is not what you've seen in the movies.
Yeah, forget all that Skynet and Terminator stuff. What really keeps Altman up at night isn't some superintelligence waking up and deciding it hates humanity. No, it's something way more immediate, and honestly, way more terrifying. It's a rogue state, a terrorist group, or even just one person with a grudge using AI to, say, create a bioweapon or launch a cyber attack that could bring society to its knees.
So you see the shift here, right? The focus moves away from this distant sci-fi threat to a very clear and present danger. The question isn't how do we stop the machines from taking over anymore, it's how do we stop people from using these machines to do absolutely terrible things.
And that way of thinking, that focus on the human risk, is really the key to unlocking OpenAI's incredibly audacious trillion-dollar strategy to basically take over the world of AI.
I mean, the ambition here is just, wow, it's breathtaking. Altman's vision is for OpenAI to become the Windows of AI, the one essential, totally unavoidable platform that everything else runs on. Just try to imagine a world where every single AI-powered gadget, every smart car, every robot is running on OpenAI. That's the future he's trying to build.
And to make that happen, Altman is prepared to spend money on a scale that is almost impossible to wrap your head around. We are not talking billions here. We are talking trillions. That's enough money to build entire cities, to power whole nations, all in the service of creating the ultimate AI empire.
And look, this isn't just about throwing money at the wall to see what sticks. This is a strategic power play. By locking in partnerships with the absolute biggest names in tech, NVIDIA for the chips, Oracle for the cloud, Samsung and SK Hynix for the memory, OpenAI is basically building this vertically integrated fortress that will be nearly impossible for anyone else to compete with.
But here's where the story gets a lot more complicated. As OpenAI is building this massive empire, the picture of its architect, Sam Altman himself, well, it's getting a little murky. Because it turns out his personal fortune is deeply, deeply tangled up in the very ecosystem that he's building.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Officially, Altman's salary at OpenAI is pretty modest, right? $65,000 a year. But behind the scenes, he's built up a personal fortune of almost $3 billion, investing in over 400 companies. So, where did all that money come from?
And this is exactly where those lines start to get really, really blurry. I mean, just look at this. He's a major shareholder in Reddit, which, surprise, surprise, just cut a deal to feed its data to ChatGPT. He's the chairman of a nuclear fusion company, Helion, that's in talks to power OpenAI's data centers. It's this whole tangled web that raises some serious questions about who's really benefiting from OpenAI's success.
Now, OpenAI insists that Altman is recusing himself from these deals, that he's staying out of the negotiations. But come on, the perception of a conflict of interest is just undeniable. The crucial thing to take away here is that when the guy in charge of the world's most powerful AI company is also personally invested in its key partners, it's just hard not to wonder who he's really working for.
So what do you do with all this? You've got this visionary leader, this insane trillion-dollar ambition, and this messy web of personal financial entanglements. It all boils down to one massive make-or-break question. Is Sam Altman building the future, or is he just creating the biggest, most spectacular bubble in the history of the world?
I mean, just look at these numbers. They are absolutely wild. OpenAI's valuation has gone from practically zero to $500 billion in what feels like the blink of an eye. It's the kind of crazy growth that makes the dot-com bubble look like a small hiccup. Even Altman himself has admitted that it all has a bubbly vibe.
But with that kind of hype comes a ton of scrutiny. And when OpenAI rolled out its latest model, GPT-5, the backlash was just swift and brutal. People hated it. The company was actually forced to make this rare, pretty humiliating public apology, admitting that they had totally screwed up.
And this really gets to the central puzzle, the core contradiction at the very heart of OpenAI. Altman wants to build this world-changing technology, right? But he doesn't want to answer to Wall Street's quarterly demands. At the same time, he's burning through cash at a mind-boggling rate and isn't even planning to be profitable for years. It's an incredible high-wire act that just can't last forever.
So I'll leave you with this question. What's the final verdict? Is Sam Altman a visionary genius, a reckless gambler, or maybe something else entirely? Is OpenAI the dawn of a new technological age, or is it just the world's most expensive house of cards waiting for a slight breeze to knock it all down? The answer is going to shape our future in ways we can't even begin to imagine.